Hello everybody, and welcome to my channel. Reiki with Anna. For today's video, we're going to be talking about and working through the subject of anger. I have quite a collection today of tools for us. Usually my tools for the sessions fit inside of this little bag, but today I needed to bring out a fruit bowl's worth of goodies for us, because I think the subject of anger is a big one. It's a big boy. And I know that for me, it can invite a lot of vulnerability, and it can be triggering. And I don't mean to project or anything like that, but for this video, I wanted to have a bunch of tools, anchors, fun stuff for us to play around with during this session. I know that during times like the one that we're in presently, feelings of maybe helplessness, maybe feelings of deep vulnerability. I have my armor on again. One of you asked me where I got this necklace, and I wish I could share it with you, but I got it at a flea market here. But I really love it. And I think these times they can invite and trigger all kinds of emotions, and some of these emotions can be processed as anger, or they can trigger anger. And so I recognize that this is a very complicated, large subject, and I just want to make sure that you're all taking care of yourselves. So please seek help in whatever way you need to. I had a video about communication recently, and I think communicating when you need help is really so courageous and vitally important. So if this does trigger anything, please take what serves you and leave what doesn't, and please seek help if you are in need. I wanted to thank you so much for your comments. As always, this one was recommended several times, and those of you who recommended it did it in such a beautiful way, so I want to honor that. I also this has sort of come up in the collective where I've done a distance session that had this as one of the focuses. I adore you, by the way. Big shout out and thank you, and so much love to any of you and all of you who have done a distance Reiki session or more than one. I love each and every one of you. So, yeah. But I want to thank you for your comments. And as always, I get my inspiration for these videos from you. So if there's anything that you'd like me to cover, please, if you're called to, let me know down below. Okay, and without further ado, let us just jump in here. First, I will be lighting some sage here, and I'm going to use this to set our intention and also to write the sacred symbols. Then I will be using it to cleanse and clear. This is a very old piece of a very large bundle, so it can be a little snap, crackle, poppy, which I think is kind of nice. Okay. So this is igniting the symbolic power of Reiki passing between us at this moment, setting this intention and seeing it through time and space to where and whenever you happen to be receiving this session or watching this video. On behalf of our wisest, most empowered selves, in loving comfort and perfect balance, I wish to conduct this Reiki session by proxy, the proxy being this camera and tripod being communicated, carried through to you through this intended individual before me. For anger, for soothing our anger anywhere on the scale from irritability to rage. To find some clarity as we investigate causes, sources, inviting a deep communication with self here. I'd also like to invite pure, loving acceptance. You are not your anger. You are accepted here and you belong. Okay. I will now be drawing these symbols just outside of your heart center. By that I mean about 1.5 feet away, so this is done in perfect respect to your boundaries and your safety and your comfort. Okay. And now this sage sort of serves many purposes here because I'm out of incense. So this is serving a few different functions. So I will now be moving this through your etheric field, through your energy body, and this is with the intention of clearing anything that is loose and able to be cleared, that is no longer serving us. I like to say this in all of my videos, particularly my distance Reiki sessions, that you can be as active or as passive in these sessions as you like. It's totally up to you. It's not that if you do more, you'll get more. It's different experiences, you know. With that said, if you do wish to be a bit more of an active participant here, I'm just going to light this again. Then during this segment, if you wanted to call anything to the surface that you maybe came in with today, call anything to the surface that you wish to clear here. Anything that's no longer serving your highest, most aligned self. A lot of this is really focused around the mental plane, clearing anything in the mental plane. And I think clearing, especially for a video like this, is pretty important. So we're just clearing whatever is not serving you, so that we can make space for things that are. Make space for what is serving you. Make space for empowering thoughts, beliefs, relationships. Yeah? Okay. Coming down. Smoke ring. You can't see it, but it's there. Okay, here we go. Just running through the etheric field and there. This is still like here. It's very comfortable. Okay. So now that we've done a little bit of that clearing, we're gonna clear with some of this spray. And I always use this bottle. It's just reused and reused and reused. But inside this one is sage and rosemary. It's a really, really nice one. I just pop different essential oils. And I like to use it up every few days so it doesn't get gunky. But I'm going to be spraying down to your right, and then down to your left, and then down by your feet, and then my hands again. So we're just clearing. I like to clear at the beginning of these sessions, and then do a pretty thorough cleansing and clearing, and then then we start filling it up. Clearing, looking inward, and then filling up the etheric fields. The intention being that by the end of these sessions, you'll feel full and supported and hopefully loved and relaxed, comforted and secure. That's my intention anyway. I'm just moving through here. Just doing a little scan. Okay. I'm not placing my hands on you. I'm just placing them about 1.5 feet away from your body, your physical body. Just establishing this connection with your energy body, your subtle body. Okay. I'm now going to take this Selenite Wand and I'm going to comb it through your aura, starting at the crown and working our way down. Here we go. This is just a lovely, gentle but powerful cleansing and clearing stone. It very gently purifies energy, clears and cleanses it, clears and cleanses it. Maybe I should watch the communication video. Anyway, moving down. I'm really going to focus on the root here, and the way I like to do that is probably about 2 feet above your hips here, and then on either side of your hips about 1 foot away. The root chakra is associated with anger, an overactive root chakra. So it's nice to just send a lot of loving, soothing support to the root. If you clicked on this video and are struggling with anger. So I didn't want to wear anything too dark. Sometimes wearing, dark reds can activate the root chakra. Like browns might be nice. I wanted to wear something light and pink and invite some pink into this space for just sending love to that anger and acceptance there. But if you're open to it, and if this is something you're interested in, then yeah, I would say maybe if this is something that you struggle with on kind of like an ongoing basis, or you have cycles of it and it continues to come back around, then I would say maybe try steering clear of reds, wearing reds, seeing red. I don't mean to make light of this. I just want to invite a sense of wholeness to it, though, as well, so that we can start chipping away at this stigma that says that anger is ugly and wrong. Now, I don't think that rage or acting on anger is appropriate. Obviously, I don't think that violence is acceptable in any way. But I do think that, there's a big stigma about anger and what it looks like. And I think it's important for us to send love to that space, I guess. And acceptance and a sense of belonging. And maybe to see what it has to teach us. Okay. And again, if this is at all triggering for you, which I completely understand, please use your discretion and find something that's a bit more suitable to where you are in this present moment. I invite and implore you to do that. I think it's important to take care of yourself, so if this feels disempowering or triggering at all, I understand. I wish you well and encourage you to find something that suits you, okay? So, I'd like to talk you through some of the stones that I wanted to work with today. And there are a fair few, as you saw. So I figured we would talk through these. And also, I have a little suggestion sort of that was, I think I learned it from my Reiki master teacher, Jillian from Lunanate. If you're feeling angry, wanted to mention this before I forget it. And the anger is sort of, here in this place of the tipping point, where it could stay logical and rational, or it could tip over and really start accelerating and moving towards rage, towards that seeing red, out of control kind of feeling. A very scary and disempowering feeling, right? So, in the moment, sometimes it can feel really right and tempting, but it's nice to encourage agency in those moments, right? So if you are at that tipping point and you're able to recognize, oh, okay, this is a point where I still have control, where I still have the agency to respond in from a more aligned place. If you think of it and are able to, I like to carry around a string. This is actually the one I use It's like my sacred anger string. And in these moments, when I'm in an argument or something and I notice that it's bubbling up, then I just tie a little knot in the string and I revisit it at a time when I'm able to be more aligned, more present. I have more of my faculties. And then I like to do it at the full moon. And sometimes my string will only have one little knot in it, and sometimes it'll be like this. Like a big ball. So, every full moon, I like little rituals like this too. I go out under the full moon and I untie it. I untie the knot. And I recall and sit with that anger, that argument, if I can remember it. And if I can't remember it, then I release it and I invite that energy to be recycled. And if I do remember it, I release it with it. And I think about it in terms of lessons that I might learn from it. And, this is just food for thought. Take it as you would, like anything else. But, just know that nobody's perfect. And a lot of the times, when I'm going back through things, it can sort of trigger this, but this argument could have gone better if I had said they had said. And those are the moments that I really like to take some time, and I know that that's something that's going to come up and it's going to be part of my practice for a bit. And it's at those times when I like to do a meditation and really sit with it. This was very long-winded, but I just wanted to share that as just food for thought, an idea. And that's my sacred string that I have with me most of the time. And then you can use anything, piece of twine. You can, anything that you have around. I don't know, just an idea. Okay, now to our stones. I'm gonna just spray a bit. As you can maybe tell, this is a bit of a vulnerable video for me to make. Speaking about anger. It's a very vulnerable subject because I want to make sure that I'm communicating what I mean about it and not encouraging any violence. So bear in mind that it might be a little rambly. And it's also because, like I said, anger is not necessarily an accepted emotion. And so I know for a lot of you who have shared and with whom I've spoken, about this subject, that you're, sort of struggling with this anger, shame, this cycle, this, oscillating back and forth between the two, and it's exhausting, and it can feel disempowering. And I just want you to know that I'm here holding space for you if you are someone who struggles with this. Okay, so the first stone that I wanted to introduce to this session is, I think, one of the best stones for anger, and it's Argonite. And for me, it's a really beautiful stone. Let's see, can you really see it? Let's go in closer. Okay, let's see. There we go. So this stone is fantastic for anger because it kind of allows you with these little, it looks like a little explosion, right? And with each of these little sections, almost like a star that's points have been hacked off. It's like each of these little the way I see it is that each of these offshoots it kind of has the explosive energy and quality of anger, of some accelerated explosive anger. And so the way I like to see it is that each of these little offshoots is sort of like a direction, a very specific path and direction for that anger. And very often our anger is misdirected pain, misdirected fear. A lot of the times it's a mechanism, a really effective device for vulnerability. And so for me, this is a beautiful reminder that we can channel this anger and this energy, because what that anger is, it's energy. It's free access to a lot of very powerful energy. So if we're able to, and we have the agency in those moments to find the inspiration and channel that energy, then I think we can actually use it to our advantage, to our empowerment, or to further ourselves in some way, or have a better understanding of self. And I don't know, I think this would be a great one if you do kind of struggle with anger on an ongoing basis, to use as maybe as a necklace or something, or some kind of jewelry. But that's a really lovely one. And I'm actually going to start placing the stones now. And for this, I'm actually going to place the stones around your body. Okay? So to start, I'm going to place this equal to your heart center, to your left. So kind of just outside of that left arm there. Okay. I wanted to invite in some purple fluorite, indigo fluorite, for clarity, for some clarity with this anger. To invite some of that deep, deep wisdom about where this is all coming from. So I'm going to be placing this same position, just directly opposite. It's outside of your right arm. Okay. Now I have a piece of bloodstone. This is a green and red jasper. And I'm going to be placing this at your heart center. It's a beautiful stone of benevolence and benevolent action. And so I wanted to invite this in for two reasons. One of which was inviting a real sense of benevolence for ourselves in these moments. Seeing ourselves as a younger version of us, and being able to really look at ourselves and see the deep vulnerability and humanity and loveliness and pain in these moments of anger, and to say, you are not your anger. You are not your anger. And also in these moments, to invite benevolence, casting this forward. I'm going to draw the distance Reiki symbol above your heart center with this, but to cast this energy forward in those moments, can we in some way, in some kernel of our conscious mind, remember the importance of benevolence and sharing and spreading that and sharing it with whomever we might be targeting this angry energy toward. So, benevolence for self and benevolence for others. Just drawing the symbol here above your heart. Now placing this at your heart center. Okay. Here we have a piece of angelite. It's super soothing and very smooth, and I wanted to call this in for any messages from Spirit. A few of you have talked about spirit guides, and so I wanted to call this in for this session. So it's a really beautiful stone for opening ourselves up to these messages, and then through us channeling them and communicating those messages clearly, applying them to our lives, kind of thing. So I'm going to be placing this actually at your Zeal chakra, right behind your neck, kind of at the base of your skull, ever so gently. Okay. A lot of stones. And rhodonite, a lovely, lovely stone for this kind of work. I'm going to be pairing this rhodonite with petrified wood. Petrified wood for a gentle grounding. I wanted to make sure we were grounded and supported and safe without feeling too bottom heavy and activating that root chakra. Instead, I wanted stones that are associated with the root chakra that are more kind of balancing and soothing, toning down that energy. So I'm actually going to be placing both of these down by your feet. We're going to encourage this energy to billow up. Now, I have a rose quartz. Lovely, lovely stone. So here I think what I'm going to do is just begin moving this through your aura, moving this rose quartz through your energy field. And for this, I just want to invite a real sense of love and acceptance. So you are loved and you are accepted here. And your anger does not define you. So I'm going to start here. Move down. And if you are choosing to be a bit more active in this session, then I would say at this point, try and invite some awareness to the spaces where I'm working, and sort of just see what comes up. See if anything comes up, any resistance, blockages, tension. Could be throat closing, maybe. Could be weight on the chest. Through your energy field. So if there is something that comes up as we move down, just, bring awareness to it. I think one of the kindest things we can do for ourselves and others is to arrive with presence. Okay. I have 2 more stones that I want to move through. This ruby infusiate and this blue lace agate. And both of these are very soothing stones from my perspective. Particularly the blue lace agate is just incredibly soothing and calming. And it's a beautiful stone for communication. Peaceful communication, gentle communication. And this one I love to use for, can you see it? It's like kind of a teal sea green stone with little flecks of gold, some white spirals, swirls, I guess, and some blobs and bubbles of this ruby kind of pink. And this one happens to look like a heart right there, kind of. And I think this is a great stone for harmony. And so with these 2 in particular, I wanted to create some space and send some energy for the kinds of anger that comes up in conversations, discussions, arguments, and any of that has to do with that communication, misunderstanding, feeling disempowered, feeling misunderstood, feeling attacked, or I don't want to project anything onto you again, but I just want to make these available to you or clarify what we're talking about here. And I'm going to start at the crown again, and we're going to work our way down, and I'll probably draw some symbols. One aspect that I wanted to cover here is that this is, a lifelong, ongoing process, as are so many of these different things that we sort of talk about here. And I, by no means, am trying to oversimplify your experience or downplay what you're going through or how complicated the path to peace is. But I do want to just, hold space for you as you walk this path and move through these very complicated life situations that might be coming up a bit more for some of you now. And on that note, I know that the aspect of anger, particularly at that tipping point, that the aspect of anger that is kind of most complicated, or at least very complicated, is that, sometimes we don't even recognize that we have agency in those moments. Sometimes we don't even recognize that there's a problem until it's too late, or that things are escalating in that direction until it's too late. And inviting presence into those moments as much as we can, that really starts to give us more control over our actions, our words, and therefore, as contradictory as this might sound, more freedom from which to move and express ourselves, so that we're not sort of riding this wave of emotion, that instead we are harnessing these emotions, listening to maybe what they have to tell us about what we're experiencing, and then choosing to act, speak, behave from a more aligned place. Okay. I'm going to be placing these two stones here, sort of like on either side of your neck. Perfect respect and comfort for your boundaries, as is everything we do here. Okay. So this is one of the stones that I gave an example of in the last video, where I talked about how there were certain stones that I thought were a bit intense. And for me, indigo gabbro is a stone. I think it's an amazing stone and a beautiful stone. But for me personally, there are a few stones, and this happens to be one of them, that is very triggering for my anger. It has the ability to kind of pull things to the surface, almost like, an extraction. And so maybe some of that is coming to the surface, and that's the triggering aspect of it. And I like to work with it in that way. But I try to be really conscious about how I'm working with it. So if you are someone that falls into or suffers from or experiences anger and the challenges that involves, we all experience anger, you know what I mean, though. If you are someone who can be triggered, I would say maybe work with this after you've already done a fair amount of work, because you might have no problems at all, but for me, it can sometimes accelerate things a bit for me. It's just very intense, I think, stone for me. So it is for these purposes here. I'm going to set a very gentle intention here. But for our purposes here, we are going to be using it to kind of very gently pull anything to the surface that we might want to look at. And for this section, I would definitely say if you are feeling in a more sensitive or triggered spot, maybe skip ahead a little bit, because maybe it would probably be best to do this kind of work or this aspect of this session when you are able to come at it from a much more calm and balanced place. So, spraying a little bit of this here. And this is for sage, for the sage for clarity. Kind of running it through. For clearing, and the rosemary for clarity. So, I'd like to set an intention for this stone to very gently move through the aura of the collective on behalf of our wisest, most empowered and aligned selves in loving comfort and perfect balance, to shed light on anything that might be kind of lurking in the shadows, particularly as it pertains to our anger, and especially anger that feels disempowering. So I'm going to start here. Drawing some symbol. Moving to the third eye. This is another example of a time when I would, if you're open to it, be maybe a little bit more aware of anything that's coming up now and then for 3 days following. Dreams, and most people are totally fine with it and don't even have them, but I just like to kind of, just in case, just to kind of let you know that everybody reacts differently to these different energies and stuff. But just to share, this is one that I have found, so I thought I would share. I'm really focusing on the root here. Now I'm starting to pull anything out. I can almost picture it like a trowel. Uprooting things so that they're more easily plucked or pulled to the surface. Okay. Now I'm going to cleanse that really well. Not right now, but before I use it again. Okay. Now I'd like to take this fresh rosemary that I picked today, and I wanted to a bunch of rosemary, and I picked all this, and I wanted to move this through your etheric field just to invite a little bit of clearing, a little bit of mental clarity as well. So clearing for our energy field and also our mental plane. Okay. So moving this through here. Oop. Okay, and now I'm going to just sort of run them through, tapping, creating a little bit of a vibration in the energy field around you, and also to break up the oils and have some of that aromatherapy. I'm going to start here. And we're just going to again, I'm not touching you. This is all in perfect respect for your boundaries and comfort. It smells so good. Creating vibration. Okay. That smells really good. Okay. Now, I'm going to move through. Oop. With this Amazonite and this emerald. And for Amazonite, I love to use this to sort of in a similar vibe as the Indigo Gabbro, but much gentler, much more soothing. So if you did skip ahead, then this would be a really beautiful way of kind of inviting some awareness into this subject of anger. And if you stuck around for the Indigo Gabbro, then this is just sort of a closing for that. To say, all right, like the river, show us what we might learn. I am open to receiving any lessons here. And the emerald for love. We'll do self-love. We've done self-love. We've done acceptance. We're inviting all of that into this space. And this is for you to attract and receive love from the universe, from others, from me. Not only do you deserve your own love and compassion, you deserve the love and compassion of others. You deserve the love and compassion of the divine, the universe. So moving these two stones through here. Very gentle, very soothing. I think this kind of work takes a lot of bravery. Being honest and open with ourselves about what's going on takes a lot of honesty and a lot of bravery. I know that those of you who have shared your experiences with anger or your requests takes a lot of courage. The Reiki session that I did, that individual took a lot of courage too. To share and all of that. I don't want to go into detail out of respect, but it just takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of presence, it takes a lot. I'm here holding space for you as you move through this and do this work, which is vitally important. I mean the work on anger. It's vitally important work. On soothing and understanding and moving through that. So what I hope with that, Rosemary, is again, any clarity that might have come up, any clearing of clouds, down by the hips, not touching you, perfect respect for you. Okay. Just like to place this soda light at your throat ever so gently. Again, this is a beautiful stone of communication, and I think in these moments, trusting our worthiness of communicating, trusting our power and our personal power in our communication, and just inviting as much clarity into that communication as possible. I think so often arguments arise out of just a feeling of being misunderstood and then making assumptions, and then sort of, not always, but it can be this sort of cataclysmic whirlwind of lack of understanding, blame, defensiveness, and misunderstanding. And it just, so let's cut through all of that and take this sodalite, placing it ever so gently on your throat chakra for the power of your voice. And now, this insanely beautiful piece of carnelian. I love this stone. It is so soft and smooth. I'm trying to see if you can see it. I know you can see it, but the details. It's very, it's sort of a bit see-through. I'm going to bring you closer here. So it's a bit sort of see-through. You can't really tell, but let me see here. I bet I can do this. So it's sort of like a bit see-through. You can kind of see inside of it. I hope that I'm using the flashlight from my phone. You can see inside of it, and it's very, very, I don't know, magical. It's really, really human. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a really cool stone. And it's a gorgeous stone for creation, creativity. And I love the idea of, in these moments of anger, if it's not in the midst of an argument or whatever, that if anger comes up, or that's an emotion that might be present at points, like that Argonite, to channel that into productive and healthy ways, maybe ways of creation. Maybe we use that to create, to that kind of energy, and we harness it, and we use that energy to create, for something creative, for that beautiful self-expression in the throat. Self-expression in a creative capacity, or like dancing, singing, anything like that. Sometimes that can activate the root chakra, but a lot of the times we can use that energy and channel it and harness it and send it out there to be recycled. It's all trial and error, really. So I'm going to start with this lovely piece of carnelian, starting at the crown and moving down. And this is really inviting healthy ways and places to channel that anger. I don't know, do you do that? Do you have any ways that you channel your anger? I know a lot of you are super creative. So I wonder if any of you already have a practice like this where you use and channel your anger into creative endeavors. And these don't have to be, career-based or anything like that. And they don't even have to be, if you're, don't consider yourself a particularly creative person. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be painting or anything like that. It could be journaling or listening to music. Gardening, or I don't know. I have a tendency to play with sticks or twigs or little things like that, or sands. So I don't know if you know what I mean, but kind of going outside and putting my feet in some dirt and gardening is another good one. Okay, I'm gonna leave this very gently. It's really smooth. I love this stone. It's a big one, but it's I don't know if you can tell how big it is. It's pretty big, and but I was very lucky, and I was able to get this for not very much money at all, which is really nice. So I'm going to place this on your sacral, 3 fingers below your belly button, just to very gently invite that really soothing and comforting energy there for creativity and imagination when it comes to this. Kind of using, like I said, anything that we're able. Bit at the feet. Okay. Now I'm going to start at the crown. Do a bit of hands-on healing. Sending gentle, comforting, soothing energy. Sending that energy to the throat. For freedom of expression. To trust your voice. center. So much love. So much acceptance here. You're accepted in your anger. You belong even when you are angry. Solar plexus. You have the power to control your behavior. You can tap into that personal power and agency and act from an aligned, balanced place. I'm sending you that energy here, making space for it. Also making space for a new response. I read something that I found very empowering about how each time you respond differently to a trigger or something that might cause pain or a strong reaction. Each time you react differently, respond differently, it rewires your brain. It rewires that response, and you're really solidifying and sealing that path, that channel, so that it might be easier the next time you feel triggered to respond from a more aligned, more empowered place, more balanced place. I find little things like that very helpful, and I think that along those lines, just food for thought again, if you feel that when you are reacting or responding from a misaligned place or out of control, out of balance, dysregulated place, I'm sending energy here to the sacral. When you respond from a place of alignment and from a place of personal power and agency in an incredibly triggering situation or circumstance, all different for all of us. No judgment in this space, okay? But when we do that, when we are able to react or respond rather than react, respond in a more peaceful and present place, I like to reward myself, That's how I got this ring. This ring was a reward for me for a moment like that. I'm sharing a lot today. But yeah, I think it's really, really important to be honest about with yourself, about what you're going through, And if something was challenging, it doesn't matter what it looks like from the outside. Show yourself a kindness. Invite that benevolence in. That benevolence for yourself. Be as kind to yourself in these moments as you would to a dear friend, a loved one, a family member, a child. Okay. And now placing my hands on either side of the hips. Little spider. He's a friendly one, don't worry. The little guy. Maybe he's angry and he needs some love too. Just outside of your hips, sending you this love. Soothing, comforting, love and support. Okay. Lovely. Okay. I want to close with a little rattle. And I think for me this is going to serve the purpose of really shaking up the dynamic of the energy here. Shaking it up so that we can rewrite these things, arrive in this new, fresh place and perspective. So, I'm going to start at the crown and I'm going to work my way down. And we're just shaking this energy up, creating fresh vibrations here, okay? Just bring a little around you. There we go. I'm going to move through one more time with this Selenite Wand, starting at the crown, moving down. And we are going to cleanse and clear anything that's not serving you. So if that means anything to do with fear, anything to do with pain, misunderstandings, causing anger, if they're available to you to be cleared here and now. Oh, sure, why not? Let's clear them. Okay. Nice. I want to thank you so much for being here. I know this was a big subject, and I know a lot of you need a lot of love and support right now. Being, trapped indoors, but being, stuck indoors and feeling like you maybe aren't able to communicate as clearly as you want to, or maybe just tensions are running high in general. I think sometimes, even for people who don't typically tend to pop off, I imagine now is a time when that it might happen. So I hope this was of some use to you. I hope that there was something in here that you might chew on and make sense. If not, that's totally cool too. If you're here for ASMR, I love it. Happy to have you. And I'm just really so grateful that you're all here. I am pretty overwhelmed that you're here. I mean, I cannot believe how many of you are here right now. I cannot believe how many of you have subscribed to my channel. Thank you. I thank you. It's really huge. Thank you so much for everyone who has just, gone and hit that, or liking my videos, any of that, like the notification bell, all of that stuff, those little gestures that you're doing to support me and support this channel. It really means a lot to me, and I see all of it. That's kind of the beauty here, is that I get to see all of that stuff. And so thank you. Just thank you. And thank you for your comments and your shares and I feel a real sense of community here that is sort of taking on a life of its own, and it's really beautiful. And as always, for all of you who are going through things, I send you so much love and so much support. And yeah, I hope you know that I'm holding space for you in what you're going through, and I'm honored that you're here. Okay. I'm just going to go through and do the affirmations for the chakras, and then we'll say goodbye for now. You are divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong. You are creative. You are safe. You are safe. Okay. Thank you again so so much. And until next time, be well.